Look around. The loudest voices are not always the wisest. The most confident people are not always the most conscientious. The people taking up space are not always the ones with the deepest understanding. And yet, they are the ones shaping the conversation at work, online, in families, in communities, in the rooms where decisions are made. Meanwhile, you keep waiting until your idea is perfect, waiting until you feel ready to speak up, waiting until someone asks for your opinion, until you are sure no one will misunderstand you or feel offended, waiting until your voice comes out polished enough to be accepted. But while you're waiting, someone else is speaking. Someone with less care, less depth, less responsibility towards the results, lack of awareness towards the impact their words would create. And that is the world we are living in, and what we need to now talk about. Because while your silence may feel safe to you, it is not always neutral. When you have something real to contribute and you keep hiding it, the space does not stay empty. It gets filled by whoever is willing to speak. So if you found your way to Radiant Energy today, the message is for the collective, in whom there is a part that knows more than it says. The part of you that sees things clearly but stays quiet. The part of you that has insight, experience, wisdom, creativity, or just truth, but keeps waiting for permission to share it. Or maybe sharing it feels too tedious. So today's message is not about becoming loud for the sake of being loud. It is not about forcing yourself into every conversation. It is not about ego. It is about responsibility. Because if the wrong people have the microphone, one question matters. Where is the voice of the right people? And are you one of those voices who need to speak up? Because it is now high time to do so. Let's look at the cards today that have shown me this energy is what the collective needs to hear a message about. What you need to meditate on and maybe reconsider some of the choices you have been making. The first card I drew is the 5 of Wands. This is the noisy room. Too many voices, too many opinions, many people trying to be right. And everyone wants to be heard, but not everyone is listening. This is what happens in work meetings, online spaces, family gatherings, in communities, and even friendships. The loudest person starts shaping the conversation. The most confident person starts sounding like the most correct person, maybe because they are the only ones speaking. And if you are someone who thinks deeply before speaking, you may pull back and tell yourself, I do not want to add to the noise. I do not want to create conflict or sound arrogant. I do not want to be misunderstood. But the energy of the Five of Wands today is showing me the problem clearly. When thoughtful people like you step back, the noise remains. It just does not become wiser. It only becomes louder. And then I drew the Queen of Swords. This is the voice I felt in this reading that wanted to be used. It's not a loud voice or a careless voice. It's not a voice that speaks just to dominate the room. But it is a voice that is direct, precise, honest, and clear. The Queen of Swords does not speak to be liked or to be dramatic. She speaks because something needs to be said. This card is reminding you that speaking up does not mean becoming aggressive. You can be calm and still be firm. You can be respectful and yet be direct. You can be kind and still refuse to disappear into the background. You can speak with care and still speak the truth. And then we have Judgment. I feel this card is calling upon those who are here today to acknowledge the moment where silence has stopped becoming protection and it has actually started becoming avoidance. So Judgment is asking you, what are you being called to say? What truth have you been sitting on? What contribution have you been withholding because you're waiting to feel ready? What conversation keeps needing your voice, but you keep stepping back from it? This card is not asking you to speak everywhere, all the time, about everything, but it is asking you to answer the call where your voice actually matters. So when I look at these cards together, the message is clear. The energy speaks loudly. Where the Five of Wands is showing the noisy space, the Queen of Swords is standing there for the clear voice that is within you. And Judgment is calling you out to use it. So let's find the answer together in how your voice does not need to become louder than everyone else. But the answer is to stop letting careless voices be the only voices in the room. Because your voice may carry something useful, something someone else needs to hear, something that could challenge a poor decision, something to help another person feel less alone, something that could name what everyone else is avoiding, something that could bring clarity into a space that is filled with confusion. So let's move into today's activation. We are going to meditate together and activate your voice because it is time. If it is safe for you to close your eyes, close them now. If you're listening while moving through your day, keep your eyes open and let the words land. Take a breath in and let it out. Bring to mind one place where you have been staying quiet against what you are feeling internally. It may be at work, in your family, in a relationship, online, in a group conversation, in a space where you know you have something to say, but you keep holding back. Now ask yourself, what have I been staying quiet about? Let the answer be direct, not dramatic or polished, just honest. What have I not been saying? What have I been holding back, and why? Is it fear of judgment, avoiding conflict, fear of being seen, fear of being wrong, fear of sounding too overwhelming, fear of being dismissed, fear that your voice will change how people see you? Notice your reasons. See them clearly. Do not defend them, because you need to ask yourself next, what happens if I keep staying silent? What happens not just to you, to the room, to the conversation, to the people who may need your perspective, to the decision that may be shaped without your input, to the person who may feel alone because no one else said what you were thinking? This is where the shift happens, because your voice is not only about self-expression. Sometimes your voice is contribution. Sometimes it is correction. At other times it is protection. Many a times it is leadership. And often enough you will find that your voice is service. Now bring your attention to the part of you that keeps waiting for permission. The part that says, not yet, not like this. Wait until it is perfect. Wait until you are more confident. Wait until you have more support, or someone asks for your opinions. So respond to that part clearly. I do not need perfect confidence to contribute. I do not need everyone's approval before I speak. I do not need to be the loudest person in the room to be correct. I only need to be honest, clear, and responsible with my voice. Take a breath in and let it out. Now ask, what is one thing I know that I have not been saying? Let the answer come. It may be an idea, a truth, a boundary, a creative message, a concern, a solution, a story from your own life that could help someone. Hold that answer. Now ask, where does this need to be spoken? Maybe in a conversation, in a meeting, or written out in an email as a message. Maybe in a video. Maybe in the work that you do. Think about what is the most responsible way for you to say, what is your perspective? It's not the most pleasing way or the safest way. It does not have to be the most polished way. The most responsible way. Because the goal is not to create more noise. The goal is to bring clarity. So repeat this inside yourself. My voice does not need to be loud to be clear. My voice does not need to be perfect to be useful. I speak with care and still speak the truth. I can be respectful and still be direct. I do not have to keep quiet and disappear to keep the peace. I do not need permission to contribute what is mine to contribute. Take another breath and let it out. Now bring back the space where you have been silent and it is not comfortable silence anymore. See yourself entering that space differently, not aggressive or defensive, not desperate to be understood, and just clear, grounded, present, and willing to say what needs to be said. And notice all that would change if you stopped hiding your voice in that area of your life. Maybe it's not dramatic change immediately, but something changes. Especially when you stop abandoning your own perspective. You stop letting fear and injustice decide when you're allowed to speak. You stop allowing the conversation to be shaped only by people who are louder, not wiser. So start taking responsibility for the voice you have been given. Add clarity. Do not speak to prove yourself correct. Speak where your voice can serve. Practice by speaking, not keep giving the microphone away by staying silent. Make a commitment to use your voice with courage, with care, and where it matters. Take one more breath in and let it out. The wrong people around you may have the microphone right now, but that does not mean they have to keep it. And it does not mean you have to become like them to be heard. You do not need to be careless to be confident or aggressive to be clear. You do not need perfection to contribute. But you need to stop treating your silence as harmless when your voice could bring something useful into the room. So after this session, choose that one place, one conversation, one message, one contribution, and let your voice enter the space. Not to dominate, to add what only you can add. Take what resonates, let the rest pass. Thank you for letting me walk through this moment with you. If this message spoke to something in you, tell me in the comments. Where have you been staying quiet when you know you have something to say? Someone else may read your answer and find the courage knowing that they're not the only one learning to use their voice. And if you want more readings, guided resets, meditations, layered affirmations, then subscribe to Radiant Energy. Until the next time, stay blessed.